morning. How you doing? Nice to see some people dropping in. I just thought I was down here listening to another stream that just ended, and then I decided that what the heck? I'll go online since they're done and see what's happening in the world. This is a completely impromptu, unscripted, unplanned stream because I can. It's great to see that some of you who have joined me this morning. Good morning, and it's a special edition of Saturday Night Live on Saturday, the 27th of February, 2021. One more day in the month. By the way, I don't know what happened to it. I saw this really funny meme the other day that was saying, take the no meat challenge. We're gonna take a 3-day no meat challenge. And the dates of the no meat challenge are February 29th through 31st, 2021. I think I can handle that one because I'm a carnivore. Anyway, good morning to those in the chat who joined in already. Good morning. Oops. Oh, well, that was for Attack Alpaca who jumped in right away. I accidentally started this stream on an old stream key, and I realized that when I did that, because here's the thing, I'd use Streamlabs OBS. And they've changed how it works so that now that you get this, you get a choice of which ones you're going to go on. And I forgot that was there. And so I just did it the old way, and poof, I ended up starting this on another line. But looks like you all figured it out, and clearly I figured it out now. Anyway, good morning to that bell was for Attack Alpaca, who jumped in first. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon, Tyler F, Gunfox61, Jonathan Peterson, Fox P2, Keenan, Scotty Dubs, Chef James. Chef James, who are you? I've never seen. Have you been here before? If you haven't, my normal show is for those who are new, my normal show is Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And welcome. Jesse Leon. Okay, let me just run this by you again. We're having a no meat challenge. We're going to not eat meat February 29th through February 31st, 2021. Everyone, take the challenge. Come on now. And thank you, Gunfox. I did do that. Again, I think my stream's 30 seconds behind, or at least I have a 30-second delay just in case I need to hit the button where the swear button, right? Because I don't want to swear in my stream. Damn it. Anyway, good morning. Also, Chicago Mike, Donatello Slapafellow. Been here once or twice. A monkey that rants sent me. Fantastic. I'm glad that you've joined me. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, I'm just literally going through Twitter this morning and just seeing what's happening. You know, just on the trending tab, on the news tab, because I literally basically just got up. Well, I didn't just get up. I've been up for a couple hours, but I haven't been paying attention to the world this morning, so I wanted to see if there's anything new. And lo and behold, the first thing I got on and saw when I got into good morning, Expo Hotep. First thing I saw when I got on here was the fact that all is good and well in the world again, because the most important news story on the planet has at least come to a somewhat happy ending. Yes. I should probably put that on the screen too. Let's try that. That most important story is that Lady Gaga has gotten her dog back, her dogs back. You know, this was such a weird story. Yeah, Gunfox, I am going to go to the Discord too, check out what's on there. Lady Gaga got her dogs back. Fantastic. They've been recovered. Now, here's what we know so far. Looks like police on Friday evening recovered 2 French bulldogs owned by Lady Gaga. Now, what authorities said about the recovery of the canines via Matthew somebody here. Should we do the LA Times story? Is LA Times going to block me here? Gosh, you know how important this story is. Oh, wait, here's a thread from the LA Times. Let's do that. Okay, Lady Gaga released an emotional statement on social media Friday after the incident in which her dog walker, Ryan Fisher, took a bullet. Ryan took a bullet trying to save the dogs. This is not a thread, though. Oh, I see. Here we go. Police on Friday evening recovered 2 French bulldogs owned by Lady Gaga. Captain Jonathan Tippett said a woman walked into a police station with the dogs about 6 p.m. Friday. She said she believed they belonged to Gaga. Who was the woman? Authorities didn't release a lot of details about her. It appeared that the woman, whom Tippett would not name, was not involved in the robbery or associated with the assailants. Most alarming for the police and local residents was the ruthlessness with which the violent robbery occurred. What police sources say about the possible motive, that's another story. I'm not going to read that. Video of the incident has been released by a witness. Warning, it contains graphic content. Uh-oh. So apparently there's a she ordered Chinese food. Oh my God. No, I think there's been a string in LA, there's been like a string of robberies of people stealing dogs. And apparently French bulldogs are a popular breed to steal. I don't get it. If the dog walker would have been carrying, none of this would have happened. Well, that probably could be true. Oh, Fox B2, you're going to take the challenge. By the way, if you just got here, we're doing a no meat challenge this year. We're challenging you to, in your meals, not eat meat for 3 days to save the planet. We want to, bring awareness to the crisis of climate change and the mistreatment of animals. So the 3-day no meat challenge begins February 29th, and and do that as accordingly as you can. Starting February 29th, we're having a 3-day no meat challenge. So you do the math on when it ends, and then you can go back to eating meat again. Good morning, Uncle Stepdad. Nice to see you. Also, good morning, Don Keedick. Nice to have you in the chat today. So if you're just getting here, this is an impromptu stream. We're just gonna have some fun this morning and check out what's in the news and do some funny things. But thank God, Lady Gaga's dog is safe. So that's I'm sure everybody is relieved about that. No, I just think it's terrible that someone would go shoot somebody to take a couple dogs. I just don't get it, I want to check something out here, see if the thumbnail came up correctly on my channel. Yes, it did. Anyway, if you haven't seen the thumbnail, that's me and Gaga. We took that picture in a shoot for the New York Times, just in case you're wondering where we got that photo. I'd say we look pretty good in the thumbnail. Have you seen the thumbnail? Here's the thumbnail. I don't know if you've even seen it. Here, it's on my page here. Here, let me make that a little better. Oops, what the hell's going on there? Let's see. There, right, that one right there. There's the thumbnail for the show today. Just me and Gaga from that New York Times photo shoot. I'm very proud of that. We were, when we were taking those pictures, she was very inquisitive about my morning show, and she says, she'd love to watch it, but she just doesn't have time. She's usually busy at that time in the morning. Usually has meetings with her producer and her managers on weekday mornings those days, because they're busy producing a new album, and they're also trying to what the fuck am I doing? Anyway, trying to say that with a straight face. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So what else is happening? Let's just look at the Twitter notifications. Thank you, Ex-Bubba Hotep and Tyler F. By the way, for retweeting my little tweet of the show. If you haven't done so, share this out. Right up there. Up there. Twitter, Minds, Gab, Parler, also Cloud Hub. I got to change my graphics on the show, because it's about time. I've had these graphics for about 5 or 6 months. I'd like to change them around every once in a while. So maybe we should do a spring themed graphics with computers and stuff. But anyway, also you can hit the share arrow down there. That takes you to whatever social media you want to do. Also, if you like what we do, even if you don't like what you do, hit the like button anyway. It always helps. It never hurts to have the likes hit. And we got about 20 some people here, but 8 likes. So hit the like button while you're thinking about it, or I'll remind you when I sign off. Also, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the PDawgKnight channel, you can do that through YouTube SuperChats below. You can do it through Streamlabs. The preferred SuperChat function here, because, you know, who wants to give ABC, Alphabet, or whatever they're called, or who wants to give Google more of your money? Just, you know, if just, yeah, anyway. And then we also do, you can also sponsor the show through Venmo and or Cashapp. Those are down below, but I don't get the message. The messages come through Streamlabs and whatchamacallit, YouTube Super Chat. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Nice to see you this morning. All right, so let's check out what else is happening on Twitter. Then we'll check out a little bit on Gunfox has put a lot of news on Discord, so we'll check out some stories. But it's just going to be kind of fun. And also, this will be a good day just to throw, if you have questions and stuff in the chat. We'll do an AMA later in the show too, because I'm going to limit this to about maybe an hour to 90 minutes. So we'll just see what's happening in the world first, and then we'll move on. Plus, there's been a lot of funny memes lately regarding Mr. Joe Biden and just things that's going on. Let's see. One of these lines. All right. So anyway, so let's check out the old Twitter trending tab first. I know that, oh gosh, Sneakers app is on there. Good, thank you. Oh, our first sponsor of the day. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Chicago Mike, with just is that a dog, cat, fox, or is that just a fox? It's with the big Haya emoji. I love it. It's very, very interesting. Oh, that's weird. Okay, did I miss something here? I see this says Streamlabs. Oh, I see. Streamlabs is telling me that the Super Chat. Okay, it's a YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you sponsoring the PDawgKnight channel. It's a great cause for people who are slowly gaining arthritis status. You feel like you're giving something to the poor, and whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm kind of like that. I got to have knee surgery. So I haven't even talked much about this. That is dog, cat, fox. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so my right knee and my left hip are both a problem. They have been for quite a while. And so I've been waiting until after basketball season. And the reason I say after basketball season, it doesn't mean that I still play basketball. I coach high school basketball, and but I am waiting till after the season to go to the orthopedist to figure out what the hell's wrong with my knee and my hip. It's just old man problems, man. It's really weird. Hey, speaking of that, on a programming note, I'm gonna have my birthday's coming up. It's only March. Well, just over a month, actually. Let's see. So how many days are in March? 31. So 30, 35, 36 days from now, I'll be a year older. That's a good thing. I don't mind getting old. It's kind of fun. Anyway, hello, Jen T. Good morning. Good morning, C-Tron. And my mom had both of hers done. Both knees or both hips. I have alternating maladies that I'm finding out that are slowing me down. Here's what really got to me. Okay, so yesterday in practice, now I coach ninth grade basketball, ninth grade high school basketball, and we had a couple kids missing from practice, so I only had 9 kids there, or no, I only had 8 kids there, and 8 or 7. No, I only had 7 kids at practice. I only have 10 kids on my team. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're going to play 4-on-4 and I'll jump in. Oh my God. Now, normally, even, let's just say a couple of years ago when I would do that once in a while with my 9th grade teams, I'm still a big dude. I'm 6'4", 280 pounds, and I can still play because I coach year round. I train kids year round. So I'm always doing ball handling and shooting and stuff. I'm pretty good at that stuff still, even in my, mid 50s. And there aren't many 9th graders that can keep up with me as far as, or at least in the past, they could keep up with me. And so, and plus just the fact that I'm so big, there's not a lot of kids in ninth grade are that big. So I pretty much can dominate on the court, even with ninth graders. And not right now, not with the knee and the hip just telling me you should not be doing that. And so I learned my lesson yesterday, and I'm feeling it today. So, thank you, X Bubba Hotep, sponsoring the show. Who says the shake weight? That's one of the shake weight alerts, which are my favorite. Well, they're not. Well, they're kind of my favorite. They're one of my favorites in my repertoire. But anyway, because I just think they're funny. Anyway, thank you, Expo Hotep, with the double deuce, who says apparently my tax return just got deposited, so might as well share a bit. Well, that is very kind of you for sponsoring the show, and I greatly appreciate that. Again, if you are interested in sponsoring the show while you're here, you can do that through Streamlabs and or YouTube Super Chats, and I'll definitely read the messages. Although I reserve the right to edit messages just in case, because, I want to be able to stay on YouTube for at least a while. Although, by the way, I am also streaming this on Trovo and on DLive. If you ever lose me, if I ever happen to get the yeet from YouTube, it is good to know that I have a DLive channel, which is also PDawgKnight. Just spell it out the way I spell it here, and you'll find the channel. Same on Trovo, if you're familiar with Trovo. I do it on both those sites. So just in case, like I said, if I ever get yeeted from here, you can always find me there. I'll continue, and then you can, if you follow me on Twitter, mine's Gab Parler, or Cloud Hub. I will also have. I have those. I'll use those links when I do have my own notifications. So just in case, you just never know, because YouTube's pretty weird right now, and they make it kind of hard to know, especially for people who are on my political persuasion, which I don't even know what that is. I mean, I'm a conservative for the most part, but there's certain things that you just can't say anymore, and you can't make certain scientific facts be known, even if they are scientific facts. It's just one of those things. They're kind of weird about things. So just to be safe, if you happen to ever figure out that my channel's gone here, you can find me there. Let's see. Good morning, Select a Boy. Nice to see you.
Yeah, boy.
Also, Asan. Let's see. My own father also had both knees done. Yeah, I'm curious. I've heard different things. Now, my problem with my knee may just be, it may just be a ligament or ACL, MCL that are strained or whatever. I don't know, and I can't really go figure out until after the season's over, because I need to be able to walk during the season, but I can get away with and that season's only we got about 3 weeks left, so it's not like I'm gonna die not having it done. But I've had mixed reactions from people who've had to have things like that happen. Some people think it's great and they feel perfect, and they get back into their normal routine really quickly. And then some people just say, no, I hate it. Still, it barely works or whatever. I don't know. And same with hips too. I don't know what's wrong with my hip, but it always feels like it dislocates all the time. So whenever I move in weird positions, I know that it's going to be, I know that I can't do anything about them at the same time. And I'm still deciding which one I want done first. Or what, it depends on what needs to be done too. Anyway, good morning, Cultus4. Good morning, Thomas Cleaver. Good morning, Cynical Lindsay. Thanks for jumping in. We're just doing an impromptu stream about nothing and basically what's happening in the world. So let's go over to, and thank you, Lindsay, for tweeting out the show. Expo Hotep, Tyler F. also. Let's go check out what's trending on Twitter, because that's, like I said, it's going to be a Twitter trending morning just to see what's in the news. Let's see. Nothing here interesting. Sneaker app. Young Jungkook was just every day in this time of day. K-pop shit pops up. It's Catter Day on Twitter. Pokemon Day marks the popular franchise's birthday. 25 years since the release of Pokemon Red and Green. Holy smokes. So Pokemon came out a year, well, just the year after my daughter was born. That's wild. It's kind of crazy. Saturday morning, no to racism. Oh, well, this has got to be very important. German radio host faces criticism for on-air tirade against South Korean pop group BTS, with fans condemning the remarks as racism and anti-Asian. You know what's fascinating? Well, first of all, thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show again. Who says, let's see. To test YouTube, say this. Trump was the greatest president since Reagan. I wish I had some, patriotic fanfare music. I got to update my soundboard here. Trump was the greatest president since Reagan. Well, I wonder if I'll get a fact check under my stream today for even saying that. Thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. I appreciate it. That's awesome. So, no to race. You know what's funny? Now, a lot of K-pop fans are Americans, obviously. They're, for whatever reason, they are just a sensation world round. I want to just look at this, because you notice how I just want to say Asian Lives Matter seems to be the big thing right now, even though a lot of the so-called hate crimes against Asians in the United States seem to be perpetrated by another oppressed group. Let's just put it that way. But they still want to blame it on Donald Trump for talking about the Chinese lung AIDS. Anyway, so let's see. It makes me upset that we're speaking up and using our platform to spread awareness against racism, only to be called for as using it for source of entertainment. It makes me upset, but we won't stop. We'll continue to make a change. What change are you making, you moron? Holy shit. K-pop, you are so correct, Lindsay. K-pop stans are the worst. They, and it's always a bunch of young, 10 to 15-year-olds just going crazy. Being racist towards Asian is not a form of entertainment that some people believe it is. No to racism. Well, let me do a poll in my chat right now. Anyone here think that being racist towards Asians is a form of entertainment? I'm not really sure. Unless they're talking about, jokes. Jokes. You know what I'm saying? Overreaction. White fanboy having a fit at Asian boys band. Cover of his white boys band goes into racist tirade saying they're a disease to eradicate. Basic human decency, diverse people uniting to say no to racism, demanding a real apology. So what happened here? What did he say? Okay, here it is. Maybe this is it right here. 1 to 4 million tweets. In the meantime, by the way, that is many times more listeners than he's ever had for a show. Okay, so they're bitching about some guy complaining about K-pop. I don't know. I don't really care. Okay, enough of that. Nobody cares. Let's move on. Let's see. Lee Mason. Some soccer player. Don't care. Canada Dry is trending. Why? Let's see. Did they do some woke Coke kind of thing? Oh, I see. This is the let's settle it once for all. Who makes the best ginger ale? Oh. Well, anyone have a vote on this one? Okay, here you go. 1, Schweppes. 2, Canada Dry. 3, Seagram's. Who makes the best ginger ale? Anyone really care about this? Anyway, so put your vote in the chat. Let's see. What would I think? I'm going to go with... Well, I'm going to wait till I see some votes on here. Who makes the best ginger ale? Schweppes, Canada Dry, or Seagrams? I can't. Well, I'm not really sure. I'll wait. I'm going to wait. I know what my answer is, but I'm going to wait till I see some answers on the board. Okay. But anyway, I guess Canada Dry is trending because a lot of people say Canada Dry. What is this? Vernors. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. None of the above. So, okay, Chicago Mike, who makes a better ginger ale then? See, I don't really use ginger ale. It's pretty rare. I do like, I like ginger beer. Like, I love making Moscow Mules because I'm a Russian asset. But, so it looks like a couple Canada Dries. Vernon's, the vote is rigged. Is that what it is? Vernon's? I've never had Vernon's. Personally, I kind of would, I tend to do Schreps. Select a boy, anyone, 1 through 3. Okay. That's an important question to know. Let's see. Here's Bill Maher's trending because apparently he had who do you have? He had Megyn Kelly on. But here's what the big thing that Bill Maher, we'll watch this. I want to react to this. I haven't seen this yet, but I know a lot of people are talking. Also, let's see. Maggie Kelly and Bill Maher discussing the cult religion that is critical race theory that is now being taught to little kids. Schools, kids are being taught they are evil because they are white. Megyn has pulled her kids out of school. Well, let's check. Oh, boy. People are pissed off at Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly. Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly got together to complain about how white people are the real victims. You know what? I don't think white people are interested in being victims, but I know that there are a lot of other racist cultures and different, I'll just say ideologies to make it fair, that do want to be victims. There's so many people who want to be victims, and there's power in being a victim right now. So let's look at the Daily Beast article first. Let's read this and see how this goes, and then we'll watch what they actually said on that show. So this is the Daily Beast. Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly argue white people are being targeted. I don't know how you can disagree with that if you watch what's going on in pop culture, and even by people like what's her face, Robin DiAngelo. We just had Coca-Cola come out with a campaign, try to be less right, which I call white people conversion therapy, because that's what it basically runs down to. You know, they don't want people to have gay conversion therapy, but now we're having white conversion therapy. So let's see. This is the Daily Beast article. They're decidedly left, but I try to use lots of different choices. The real-time host welcomed former news anchor turned podcaster onto his program to complain about the supposed culture war against white Americans. How can you deny that there's a culture war against white Americans right now? And I'm not white. I don't care. I mean, I care because I don't think there should be a culture war against anybody. But there really is a culture war against white Americans. Anyway, let's see here. Let's see how they put this, and then we're going to watch the clip. It's no secret that Bill Maher has something of a soft spot for blonde conservative women who traffic in incendiary opinions. That's a great way to start this out. Let's poison the well right now. Let's just start out poisoning the well by saying blonde conservative women who traffic in incendiary opinions. Now, Megyn Kelly, though she was on Fox News, isn't really the most conservative person on the planet. So that's a fascinating way to start it. Good morning, John. Good morning, John Connor. And also Mike Savage, Blarg, and Aaron Meredith. Nice to have you drop in. Viewing them as culture warriors in an ongoing and inflated crusade against political correctness. Really inflated? Really? Oh my gosh, where employees of a university can have their lives destroyed over a fake hate crime, like at Smith College we just read about yesterday. Yes, it's an inflated crusade. For years, the comic has been good friends with Ann Coulter. Okay, and doesn't mean that they agree on anything politically, but they're good friends. Who cares? Who served as a frequent guest on his various programs where she's been treated with kid gloves despite her oft racist opinions. Interesting. Are her opinions racist? I don't know. I have to go back and look. I mean, she said things that certain parts of society might say is racist, but is that because she thinks other races are inferior, or that they shouldn't be treated fairly, or they shouldn't have the same rights? I don't know. I'm not buying that. Good morning, Justin Anderson. And now he's repeatedly offered up his popular HBO Pro platform to Megyn Kelly, who was terminated from NBC after defending white people dressing up in blackface on Halloween. Well, that's an interesting, nuanced position. That's not really what she did. If you're thinking that she was thinking the racist form of blackface. But anyway, we're just going to keep going here. During her last real-time appearance in January of 2020, Maher proclaimed that Kelly was not really a racist and blamed cancel culture for her firing. Now, I will agree with that opinion, whether or not you do. I'm fine with that, but that's my opinion too. His full-throated defense of Kelly failed to mention her long history of dabbling in racism. Oh, really? Including her former Fox News show referring to Michelle Obama as Obama's baby mama, her odd obsession with the new Black Panthers being a tremendous threat to society, her repeated disgust at depiction of a black Santa Claus. Okay, now, good Lord. I just say that that's her. Okay, whatever. Calling a black teenage girl who was assaulted at a Texas pool party by a police officer no saint. Was she a saint? I don't know. And saying that black communities in America have a thug mentality. Okay. Now, maybe a white person's not allowed to say that, but I could tell you there's plenty of black people who live in the hood where black communities have a thug mentality. But just listen to the rap songs about those communities and almost being proud of having a thug mentality. But whatever, these are just a few examples of her mentality toward black folks in America. She's a pampered white woman. What do you expect? Anyway, well, Maher invited Kelly back onto Real Time Friday night to discuss, you guessed it, culture war stuff, which they perceive as being the most pressing issue in the country amid a global pandemic, in the middle of a pandemic. Oh no, that's killed upwards of 500,000 Americans. That's a bell ring for woke talk. Maher began by gawking at Kelly's black dress. Was he gawking at the dress, or what was in the dress? Referring to her as her old Fox News attire, referring to it as her old Fox News attire, and said she was the pretty blonde and normal one on the network surrounded by monsters. Well, that's interesting. So they're all monsters because they're much more opinionated than Megyn Kelly was. Then he asked her if she could work for the current iteration of Fox News, which has leaned further to the right in the Trump era. There are personalities there who went hard right during the Trump administration, right? Maria Bartiromo sounded very different than when I was there. Lou Dobbs sounded kind of the same as he always did, Kelly replied. Well, they're not even on the Fox News network. They're on the Fox Business Network. So, wrong channel. Anyway, then they got down to the real reason Maher invited Kelly onto the program, her recent decision to pull her kids from New York City private school, citing how the leftist school was teaching her children critical race theory at too young an age. Kelly has been shouting from the rooftops about the school situation in an apparent effort to draw attention to her new podcast, which is pretty popular. Anyway, you took your kids out of the school in New York, and I've been hearing anecdotally very much the same thing from many parents, said Maher, who surely hangs out with a bunch of New York parents. Just tell us why, basically, did you do this? We were in the New York private school system, explained Kelly, and they were definitely leftist. We're much more center-right, and that's fine. Then they started taking a really hard turn towards social justice stuff. Okay, I'm not interested in having my kids in that either. Kelly described how the school entered how the school entered her third grade son into what she called an experimental trans education program on these 8 and 9-year-old boys. And it wasn't about support. We felt like it was trying to convince them, like, come on over. The podcast host said, along with many parents, objected, and the school subsequently apologized. She also complained about a letter that her school apparently circulated that described, among other things, quote, black bodies dropping around us in the streets, and that white supremacy was largely to blame, which Kelly felt was divisive and racist. Well, can she have that opinion? Is she allowed to have that opinion? Is she allowed? Uh-oh, am I buffering? Is it back? I'm back, right? Oh, you know what? Here's what's happening. I noticed this as I was watching videos this morning, that there's little audio breaks, or where it buffers for like a few seconds and then keeps going. I've noticed that on a lot of videos this morning. I think they must be changing algorithms at YouTube. Who knows? Anyway. All right. It's so divisive and counterproductive, and it wasn't just our school in New York. It's all over New York, argued Kelly, citing no additional examples. Well, I'm sure if you spent 10 seconds, you could do that. The chat's still here. Am I still buffering? Or is it just doing it periodically? It looks like it's going through on one part here. Anyway. Don't gaslight me, said Mar. I feel like this is beyond race. I feel like it's a generational thing where so many people want their identity wrapped up in being a victim. Oh, that's the push now, is to lean into victimhood, added Kelly. And it's not just a race thing. I mean, I see it with some of my fellow women. It's not that the Me Too situation wasn't real, but we don't have to lean into victimhood, even when we might be victims. To have two rich white people. This is the Daily Beast, so obviously, and I'm wondering if this writer is white or is this writer's black too. I don't know. Marlo Stern, senior entertainment editor, who's probably white and writing this. To have two rich white people suggest to a predominantly white audience that the real problem in America right now is white people being targeted at a time when black Americans are being hospitalized from COVID-19 at 2.9% rate of white Americans in the middle of a pandemic, and the rate of white and are 1.5 times more likely to die from the disease. Well, you know what? Look. 2.9% of the rate, 1.5% more likely to die from the disease. That's killing less than 1% of Americans, less than 0.5% of Americans. I don't know. In the middle of a pandemic. And when black Americans are being laid off more, hired less, and offered less in the way of unemployment benefits compared to white Americans during the pandemic is out of touch, to say at least. So they gave links to this, but okay, are they being laid off more, hired less, and less in the way of unemployment benefits because they're black? Or are people in the exact same industries, the exact same jobs, the exact same rate of pay, the exact same amount of benefits, who are being laid off in those exact same jobs, have the same rate of being laid off, hired less, and less in the way of unemployment benefits, regardless of their race? Or is it certain industries that, oh, good God. Anyway, and is that the end? Is that really the end of the article? That's a really weird way to end an article. Okay, let's go. We're just block the database here. Let's go watch a clip of this, and we'll react to this live, because I want to see what at least the clips they put on here. Here is member of Social Justice Warrior. Once what you're doing sounds like an Onion headline. Stop. Cancel a cart. Okay, this is built. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to go here. Megyn Kelly. Okay, this is about a 5-minute
talk to you
clip.
about the schools, because I really just wanted you back here because I read this, that you took your kids out of the school in New York. And
Hello,
I am
one who,
hearing
small man.
anecdotally very much the same thing from many parents. You know,
Yep.
Parents confide in me, I guess, because I don't have kids. It usually starts with, "You're so lucky you don't have kids." And then
Now they're complaining that, oh, I bet he talks to a lot of parents. Well, I've seen this in article after article of people taking their kids out of school. So it's not like seems like it would be that unusual to me. Anyway, let's go on.
hear about their problems. But just tell us why, basically, you did this.
Yeah. Well, we loved our schools. We were in the New York City private school system. Our boys went to an all-boys school and our daughter to an all-girls school. Our teachers loved the, students and the faculty and the parents. And they were definitely leftists. We're more center-right, but that was fine. My whole family are Democrats. It wasn't like I was bothered by the fact that they leaned a bit left. But then they went hard left. Then they started to take a really hard turn towards social justice stuff. And at our boys' school in particular, it started with when our son was in 3rd grade, they unleashed a 3-week experimental trans education program on these 8- and 9-year-old boys.
Now, this is accurate from the article, what she said. And I'm curious, when they said we're going to take 8- and 9-year-old boys and put them in a trans education program, why? Why would they do that at this age? I don't even understand this. When kids who haven't gone through puberty aren't curious about shit like that. Why would they do that? I don't get it. Anyway.
And it wasn't about support. It was about, we felt like it was more about trying to convince them, like, hey, come on over. And the boys started to get confused, and they had to implement this system where they raise their hand. If you're really confused, put up a 1. If you're just a little confused, too, like.
How old are they now?
They were 8 and 9 at the time. And
is anyone here? I'm not a fan of Bill Maher, but does anyone? But every once in a while he's the broken clock where sometimes when the hand gets stuck up at the top, but then sometime during the day it accidentally falls down and it hits in the right time, but then it comes back around and hits that right time again, but then somehow the thing gets pushed up again and it gets stuck. His for the most part, his clock does hit more than once a day, so to speak. I'm not a fan of him, but at least usually, for the most part, on things regarding free speech and whatever, usually he's kind of right. I'm just saying. But anyway, let's see. Why? But again, who thinks that an 8- and 9-year-olds needs to be... I don't know. It's indoctrination. It really is. And it's look, they're doing this for a part of the population that is so minute. Not that those people should be discriminated against, not that they should be able to get help, not that they shouldn't be able to have the same rights as everybody else in our society. But is it something that it's still... Even the DSM-5 still thinks of it as a disorder. If not mental illness, it's a disorder. Okay? And I don't know what the purpose of this is. I don't get it.
we objected, and so did a lot of other parents, to the point where the school had to apologize for that one, which they very rarely did.
Oh, and at least they apologized, which is they probably got in trouble by some. I'm sure that some group out there is mad that they ever apologized. I am just sure, and he is a d-bag. You are correct, one who he is kind of a douchebag. Anyway,
then our kindergartner was told to write a letter to the Cleveland Indians objecting to their mascot. Now, he's 6. Like, can he learn how to spell Cleveland before we,
Right.
activate him? He lives in New York City. We got buses, we got subways, we got crime. He's got things to worry about other than social activism. And if he's going to be activated, Doug and I should do it, not...
Kindergartners don't even write yet. I don't even get that. But, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's amazing. It's amazing that they would have that. That's for kindergartners. Could I write in kindergarten? I could write in kindergarten, but that's because I learned to write before I got to kindergarten, and I could already read when I was in kindergarten. But I don't know about having. Oh my gosh! Write a letter to the Cleveland Indians as your kindergarten project. That's just stupid.
Not a kindergarten teacher, didn't run it by
And this
us.
is what I've heard from parents, and these are all liberal, by the way, people
Of course,
who say,
on this-
my kids are not ready to be told they're white supremacists.
That's right. And on this,
I'm not ready to be
Can
told
I tell you,
that.
Bill? On
know,
this, we're not left and right. We're not black and white. This is a question of reason and unreason.
But you talked about this letter that the school put out.
So this is on the race issue.
Can I read some of the things that are from this letter,
Yep.
unless people think I'm losing my mind? There's a killer cop sitting in every school where white children learn. White children are left unchecked and unbothered in their homes, one sentence starts. Well, how old do you have to be before you can just be unchecked and unbothered?
Right.
You know, what age do you get bothered? I'm tired of white people reveling in their state-sanctioned depravity, snuffing out black life with no consequences.
Okay. Where? I'm just going to stop and say, show me the statistic where that's happening. Show me the statistic where that is happening. Okay. This is the whole... Now, these people, though, in these cities, their liberal areas, believe this is because that's what the media feeds them constantly. Now, and I don't even want to go into statistics on black on black crime versus black on white crime versus white on black crime, whatever, or even police shootings. Again, police shootings of unjustified police shootings are man-bite-dog events. They are so incredibly rare. But the media feeds us that shit all the time. And so a lot of these people, that's all they get. They get the left-wing media telling them in New York City, the entire media is left-wing. So now you're talking about police shooting unarmed black men. Even in cases like the dude in Kenosha, Wisconsin, James Blake, where he was not unarmed, but that was fed to them. And it's just, everyone knows his name. Do you know the names of all the kids that were killed in various cities around the country by someone of their own race in the hood? When there's hundreds of them and there's one James for every James Blake? There's hundreds and hundreds, multiple hundreds people murdered for every police shooting, and most police shootings are justified. But they're fed. They're fed this. Well, white cops are killing black people every day. No, you hear about the same white cop who killed a black man every day for months and months and months, where it becomes like you begin to think, oh, this is always happening. Well, it's not. The reason you know every name is because it's so rare. You don't know the names of any other people who are murdered in this country. When there's over 1,000 murders in this country every year, you only know the ones of the man-bite-dog event because that made the news because it's so unusual. Drives me nuts.
Go reform white kids. It bothers me so much that I have to be on this side of this issue.
Yeah.
Because I've always been a civil rights advocate.
Yep.
And don't make me Tucker Carlson. You're the fucking nuts. This is insane.
Yep.
As black bodies drop like flies around us by violent white hands, there is racist problems in this country. But this is hyperbole. Mm-hmm. And this is making people crazy.
It's not true.
And children, this is not the way we get to the promised land.
Absolutely not. It's divisive, it's racist, and it's having exactly the opposite effect of the one they intend. And it is not that all the black people in our school or other schools are in favor of this kind of talk. My friend Coleman Hughes, who's 24, he's a liberal, he was a Biden voter,
sure.
You know Coleman. He's been speaking out about this as a black man, saying, how dare you presume to know how I feel, to try to, it's
ding,
pejorative
ding,
to
ding,
him.
ding, ding.
Like,
Exactly. There's no way you do not represent me whatsoever. Oh, by the way, you know what I didn't do? Ex-Bubba Hotep, by the way,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
I apologize. I didn't do that for you, and you are definitely the Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day, sponsored by Streamlabs, and thank you for sponsoring the Dawg Knight Channel. Anyway, let me go on here.
Like the whites are the ones who understand, who are arrogant and in control and work hard, right? These are all the terms now associated with white supremacy. And then the white people feel bad and feel judged because they're told they're white supremacists because of a pigmentation over which they have no control. It's so divisive and counterproductive. And it wasn't just our school in New York. And it's not just New York. I mean, all over New York privates, New York publics, there was no place to move them in New York to get away from this. So it wasn't just our school. There's a public school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan that just got in the news because they gave out this panoply of 8 categories into which all white people fall. And on
now, if you haven't seen that, it's the what is it, the 8 degrees of white supremacy, and none of those include not being a white supremacist. It's a little graph that came out. It's pretty bad. It's just so stupid.
One end is white supremacist, and on the other end is it was white traitor, basically, white abolitionist.
There you
go.
Really there it is, right there. So let me get this off the screen here. So yeah, here's your 8 white identities. White supremacist, white voyeurism, white privilege, white benefit, white confessional, white critical, white traitor, white abolitionist. And the only one that they say this is bad and this is good, but really, I wonder if they're going to make one of these charts for other races. It's fucked up. And I should read the definitions of these, but let them go on here for a minute.
You to be more of a white traitor. It's like everybody gets divided into oppressed or oppressor, right? On racial identity.
And that is if everyone's either oppressed or the oppressor. What's that called? Marxism. It's a Marxist philosophy that everyone is either the oppressor or they are the oppressed. And one is always bad and one is always a victim. That's not true. That is not true. Most people don't have the freaking time to be either one. You don't have time to be an oppressor or an oppressed person. How about just going about your life and live? Just crazy shit.
On sexual identity, Cupertino, California, they did the same thing. They took 8 and 9-year-olds and made them deconstruct their racial and sexual identity to figure out whether they were an oppressor or the oppressed. 8-year-olds, right? I mean, this is...
Except for the school bully, I don't know of an 8-year-old who's an oppressor. I'm sorry, there just isn't. It's just bad. And she is 100% right here. And the Daily Beast poo-pooing this as if it's not happening. They can... I was going to use one of my more colorful phrases. How far am I into the stream here? Are we in past 10 minutes? Okay, they can go take a flying fuck and a rolling donut.
It's really damaging. And as you get older, what the studies show is these sort of implicit biased education efforts bring out racism. So if somebody's having racist thoughts in the back of their head, it brings it to the frontal lobe, and more people act on their latent racism than they otherwise would have.
Yeah, so anyway, that's what they're bitching about. So, and I look through here, let's look through the hashtag. The audacity of Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, in essence, to say 8 and 9-year-olds shouldn't be burdened with race issues. Tell that to the 9-year black child that was handcuffed and maced. Oh, yeah, the one we've heard about all throughout the country, as if that happens every day. Really? Okay. Still. What else are people saying? Bill Maher, cancel culture is real. It's insane. It's growing exponentially, and it's coming to a neighborhood near you. Okay. Bridget Gabriel, 6-year-olds shouldn't be writing letters to the Cleveland Indians, and 8-year-olds shouldn't be worried about sex changes. Yeah, agreed. Let's see. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. I used to hate... Now, this is that asshole who spends all this time bitching about Trump. I used to hate used to hate watch Bill Maher until he had Kelly Conway on his show, and that was it for me. I'm glad I didn't have to sit through a pity party with Megyn Kelly. Well, kiss my ass, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, you jackass. Bishop Talbert Swan. Oh, he's a special kind of individual. Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly says children shouldn't be burdened with race issues. I'm sure young Tamir Rice would agree with them, but he couldn't be reached for comment. Oh, you mean Tamir Rice, who was pointing guns at people and it looked like a real gun and got shot by police because they thought he pointed a real gun at them because you couldn't tell because they broke the orange tip off it. And the reason they were called is because the people were saying that there's a man outside pointing a gun at people. Don't make it look like, oh, yeah, oh, what can you get? And then the theme is what you can get murdered for in America. Playing with a toy gun. Yeah, not so simple, okay? Tamir Rice, 5'8", about 170 pounds. So it looked like a short man in cold weather covered up in, a coat and hat. They don't know it's a kid playing with a toy gun. All they see is a kid out terrorizing people in the neighborhood, pointing guns at them, making them run. And when the police come up, he points the gun at the police car, and the police instinctively shoot him because there's no orange tip on the gun that was broken off to let him know that it was a toy gun. It's a tragic accident. It's a tragic. I'm sorry. You point a gun at a police officer and it looks like a real gun, there's a good chance you get shot. And there's dozens and dozens of similar incidents around the country of people getting killed with toy guns. Okay? Why is the kid, rest in peace, Tamir Rice. Okay? What you did, maybe you didn't know it was dumb, but it was. And you're terrorizing people in the neighborhood, and someone calls the police on you. Then you point your fake toy gun with no orange tip at an officer. They don't know that you're a child. They don't know that you're a child that they see on the ground. Oh, they complain. Oh, he only got 8 seconds, or within seconds of pulling up, they shot the kid. Yeah, because he pointed a gun at a police officer. Okay, now? Let's ask you this. Let's say it was a 5'8", 170-pound, 25-year-old man with a real gun, and he pointed at the officers and they shot him immediately. Would they have a problem? Would they know? Would you ever even hear about Tamir Rice if he was a 25-year-old with a real gun? Probably not, because it was a real gun. But how much time do the police have to have before they are able to determine it's a real gun when it is already pointed at them? How much time do they get? Do they have to wait until they're shot at or not? That's the question. Now, some people might say yes. I don't. I just say it's a tragedy of a very poor decision, and I'm sorry. That seems in the normal line of duty of a police officer if someone points a gun at you. Now, it's unfortunate. The kid was a child, but that has nothing to do with the idea of, well, children shouldn't be burned with race. He wasn't shot because he was black. Okay? There's dozens of incidents of police shooting kids with guns who aren't black, but you don't hear about them. Why? Well, you be the judge. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, listen to Bill Maher talk with Megyn Kelly, and Ezra Klein makes a good case that one of the biggest problems with our political discourse is mistaking being on TV for insightful and thoughtful or knowledgeable. I don't have a problem with anything they said there. Oh, hey, Bill Maher, if white people are being persecuted so badly, why don't you just disguise yourself in blackface? Your guest Megyn Kelly doesn't see a problem with that. Well, Bill Maher has been in blackface and got in trouble for that too. And you know what? Talbert Swan, she wasn't talking about that kind of blackface. Not the kind of blackface you're talking about. But whatever. Everyone's shitting on Bill Maher. I think they were right. Whatever. Anyway, let's see what else is trending. Dembele does. Woodrow Wilson's trending. Oh my gosh. Mark Green attacks Joe Biden, saying he's more left than Woodrow Wilson at CPAC. Okay, that's a weird statement. I don't know what the hell that means. Let's see. Joe Biden, who's VP, is the first black woman VP, more left than Woodrow Wilson, the guy who screened Birth of a Nation in the White House movie theater and was a virulent racist. Sure, Skippy. Well, I don't know if Kamala Harris is a black woman, but that's for the people of color to decide, not you white people. So there you go. Woodrow Wilson. Okay, so Woodrow Wilson had many issues. Okay, but anyway, oh gosh, did Ted Cruz make a joke at CPAC? It's not as nice as Cancun. I don't know if that's a real quote or not. Anyway, yeah, Woodrow Wilson was a shitty person. Anyway, and he does have one similarity to Biden. No one's really sure if he was in charge the whole time. Isn't he the one who his wife kind of ran the country while he was very deathly ill? Well, we don't know who's running the country during Joe Biden's dementia. All right, let's move on. Dominican Independence Day, celebrating the Dominican Republic's independence from Haiti in 1844. Black Thought. Why is Black Thought trending? Is it related to Bill Maher? And there will be no Black Thought slander on a lot of my timeline. What? Why is it trending? To me, anybody who doesn't know who Black Thought is, I don't know who Black Thought is. Saying who the fuck is a Black Thought should disqualify you from listening to hip hop, let alone speaking it. Oh, is Black Thought a hip hop artist? Yeah, I don't care. All right, moving on. Sliz is trending. Chris Saliza. Oh, that's not because of Chris Saliza. That's Coach Slisby from Purdue. Never mind. Or the broadcaster. Because Chris Saliza had a stupid article this morning, and I wonder if I can find that. All right, enough of trending. Let's see what's in the news. I can't say what I want because I'm in PDawg's chat, and I'll probably be arrested for thinking what I am. Well, don't you just think whatever you want to think? I'm fine. This is a free thought zone in my chat. Just don't get me kicked off of YouTube, okay? Although they tend to do that weird stuff anyway. I think it's his wife, Leo Prime. Hi, Leo Prime, by the way. Good morning. Nice to have you at the show. Uncle Bad Touch is in the house. Come on, man. All right. I'm glad you're here, Joe Biden. Nice to see you. Who else popped in while I didn't know? I know the one who's here because I've been talking with you. Okay, I'm kind of catching up. Small man's here. Okay, nice to see you all. By the way, let's see, what time is it? 11:09 my time, which 10:09 Eastern. I kind of wanted to, I wanted to do an Ask Me Anything too, or if you have any questions. I tell you what, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to try to watch the chat in case there's any questions or things that that you've seen that you want to talk about. In the meantime, I am going to continue back into the actual trending news. Auckland, is that Australia? I'm assuming. Auckland goes into a 7-day level 3 lockdown after a new COVID-19 case. You know, I was watching, this New Zealand. They've been going nuts about this. Now, granted, New Zealand has had very, very few cases compared to the rest of the world. And it doesn't hurt that they're an island and can control who can come in and out. Plus, they've had severe lockdowns around the country, despite the fact that they've had very little cases. So New Zealand's largest city will go into lockdown for 7 days from 6 a.m. Sunday local time. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has announced Auckland will move to level 3 restrictions with the rest of the country in level 2 after a COVID-19 case of unknown origin was discovered in the community. So for a single case, they go into a 7-day lockdown. Here's the thing. This is not going to... There's going to be some point where these places that have had almost no cases are still going to have a breakout number of cases. Restrictions in the country's biggest city to be imposed after a single case of unknown origin was recorded. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said the country's biggest city, Auckland, will go into a 7-day lockdown from early morning on Sunday after a new local case of the coronavirus of unknown origin emerged. It comes 2 weeks after Auckland's nearly 2 million residents were plunged into a snap 3-day lockdown when a family of 3 were diagnosed with the more transmissible UK variant of coronavirus. Health officials who could not immediately confirm how the person got infected said genome sequencing of the new infection was underway. The patient developed symptoms on Tuesday and is regarded as having been potentially infectious since Sunday, officials said. The person visited several public venues during that period. Based on this, we are in the unfortunate but necessary position to protect Aucklanders again, Ardern said, announcing the lockdown. Health authorities were trying to find out whether the new case was linked to the earlier February cluster, now at 12 infections. Health authorities are trying to find out. The lockdown with level 3 restrictions will allow people to leave home only for essential shopping and essential work, Ardern said. Public venues will remain closed. Restrictions in the rest of the country will be tightened to level 2 restrictions, including limits on public gatherings. So here's the thing, though. So in some places, they figured out that, like originally in New York City, most people were getting infected at home. Now, we don't know during the lockdowns. So I don't know that lockdowns necessarily help. Now, sure, so they can still go to restricted shopping. They can still go to restricted whatever essential work. Well, okay, can somebody in the chat, I want you to give me your everyone in the chat while we're here, I want you to give me your definition of essential work. I'm just curious. I want to hear what your definition of essential work is. I am just curious if I'm on the same page as everybody here. I bet not even North Korea goes into total lockdown because of one Wuhan virus case. Yeah, I don't either. It's kind of insane to me. I mean, granted, yes, they've had fewer cases, and have their lockdowns worked? I don't know. It's an island. You don't have a lot of travel outside of the country. If you can stop everyone from coming in and out of your country, can't you? Although I bet they haven't. So how did they? Oh my gosh. I just think that's pretty much insane. And Unite Against COVID. This is some thread by something called Unite Against COVID. Okay, is this all? I wonder if this is in New Zealand. Oh, it is. Unite Against COVID, New Zealand. So this is the thread there. I'm not going to go through that. We get it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All work is essential, okay? I agree. If you need to feed your family, your work or whatever you do to make that happen is essential. Everybody that needs to work in order to live, pretty much all work. Essentially, work is basically working to earn money to live. All work is essential. I have my guns. Well, you have your guns, Thomas Cleaver. That's awesome. Anything to do with to keep the country moving. Okay, that's interesting. Any job that provides resources for the person doing it. Yeah, which is pretty much, you got to work to eat. Now, it's funny because some people think socialism should be just take care of everybody. But guess what? Somebody's got to work in socialism, right? Somebody's got to plant the potatoes. Someone's got to harvest the wheat. Some people got to make the steel that makes the fork so you can eat your food. There's no such thing as unessential work. There's no such thing. And in fact, look, natural law, I would say, here's my essential natural law, right? If you didn't have to go, because they say, working for a wage is wage slavery. Okay, that's okay, good. Okay, let's run with that. All right. If you don't want to have wage slavery, then maybe here's a good idea for you. You don't want to have to work to be able to live? Well, let's see. Okay, fine. Here's what you can do. You can learn to plant food and learn how to store food so that you can grow a lot of food, or you learn how to gather food or whatever in the wild, or learn how to hunt so that you can store food, and then learn how to store that food so that it lasts you through the entire year, or that you have to just go out and find more food to hunt and gather, and then learn how to cook it yourself, and then also learn how to make sure that you stay healthy and whatever. But if you don't want to work, then you need to learn how to do those things, and you need to find a way to go and do those, because right now work and money substitute for the fact that you don't have to hunt and gather anymore, or that you don't have to build your own shelter anymore, because now you go out and work and you find places that you can pay to give you shelter or build you shelter, and then you can and then you don't have, then you can also, you have to work so that you have ways to get stuff that keep you healthy, like, I don't know, vitamins and nutrients or whatever. That's food though. But, or doctors, because doctors just don't, appear in the wild, they don't just show up out of nowhere, because first of all, they wouldn't know how to do anything if they just showed up, because they'd have to be taught all this stuff to be a doctor. But then, and also you have to work to get money so that you can look at your little screen, your phone screen here, so you can read the screen and bitch about having to work for money for it to be a wage slave. So there's nothing for free. If you want something for free, you can live free. Go live free in the wilderness, but you're still going to have to work to eat. So we just have a system where you substitute hunting and gathering to where someone else can do all the growing of food and whatever, and your hunting and gathering consists of going to a store and taking the money you made from working, and you're using that hunting and gathering money to pay for somebody who already hunted and gathered for you. So there is no such thing as free. There is no such thing as just living for free. At some point, either you or the people near you have to do some sort of hunting and gathering, or hunting and growing, or whatever, so that you can eat. Okay, there is no, that's why there's no such thing as, well, what do they call that? What's that proverb? There's no such thing as a free lunch. True. All right, moving on. Let's see what else is in the news section here on Twitter. So Auckland going into a 7-day lockdown. Lady Gaga's dogs have been recovered. We already talked about that. Thank goodness her dogs were been recovered. That's my thumbnail today. Me and Lady Gaga on our photo shoot from New York City last year. That was kind of fun. She's a weird lady though. I just don't understand her. Anyway, let's see. Disrespected demotions. Black employees say Amazon has a race problem. Oh, good God. Do I even want to click on this? Now, think about this. Okay. So Amazon is a huge company with hubs and warehouses and distribution centers all over the world. Okay. And the idea that every single, there's like 5 distribution centers in this where I live in this town. That every single one of these places has a race problem. The entire company has a race problem based on something. It's like when someone says black employees say Amazon has a race problem, that would mean that it's ingrained with the entire company Amazon. Let's remember who is the biggest wig at Amazon, at least temporarily until he steps down, he says. Jeff Bezos, Mr. Woke and Washington Post and leftist himself, right? Richest man in the world. This is going to be very interesting. So interviews with diversity managers and internal data obtained by Recode indicate that black Amazon employees are promoted less frequently and are rated more harshly than non-black peers. Really? Are they? Or is... Could it be Interesting. Let's look at this. Is there a thread here? Yes, let's look at this. I'll just read the thread. We're not going to go read the article. We'll just, because they've got a thread here. More than a dozen current and former Amazon corporate employees told Del Rey that they saw a pattern of systemic racial bias at the company, which affected black employees' career growth and personal lives. Shannon Kelly Ray, a former diversity leader at Amazon, quit her job there after 10 months. Amazon was not doing things in a way that represents best practices that would advance diversity and inclusion in any way that is meaningful and thoughtful, Kelly Ray told Recode. Several black women employees say they and their peers face microaggressions from coworkers and managers. Now, remember, listen to this next sentence, because this is a company very vast and extensive, thousands of locations around the country, probably, or at least hundreds, more than hundreds of locations and around the country. One male manager told a black female colleague, "My ancestors owned slaves, but I'm pretty sure they were good to their slaves." Why did that even come up? Who brought up anything about slavery? I'm just curious. But one male manager.
You're fucking a white male!
One male manager said that to somebody. Okay, does that go right up to Jeff Bezos? Did Jeff Bezos come out and tell us to tell your family's history in slavery? Is that part of the job requirement? Is that part of the interview process? Internal reports show black employees at Amazon Web Services receive least effective marks in performance reviews more frequently than white coworkers. How about than Asian coworkers? How about than Hispanic coworkers? I'm just curious. Several employees told Recode Amazon's leadership principles sometimes weaponized to push out black employees. Del Rey's full report on allegations of racial bias at Amazon here. Black Americans from all walks of life keep reporting bias and racism in workplaces, schools, and judicial interactions. It's almost as if the racism is systemic or something. Or there's value in being a victim. I don't know. Look, I work at a large company that there are successful black people in all of these companies, I'm pretty sure. And I'm just curious how they survived these racist companies. And I wonder, if you have a constant view and there's a mentality that we're always a victim. If your mentality is that you are always a victim because of your race, are you more likely to report being a victim because of your race? And I get tired of that. I work with a lot of different people, and I've been running a company over 15 years, and I see people come and go every day. And there are people who come in and they do their work and they're great and they do their job. And there's people who don't do good and don't do their job, or just have an attitude, or just don't want to be there, but they go through the motions. And you know what? I can never say it's related to their race. But there's always someone who's going to complain about something. I see people complain about things and immediately go to, it's because I'm my race that I'm having these problems when I see people who just aren't doing their job very well who get into these problems, or don't have an attitude that this is part of your, there's you if you do this job well, you're going to advance to here, but rather than I don't want to do this job, so I don't want to be here. Hello, HP Lovecraft, nice to see you here. Amazon employees have never had a better time to strike and organize a union, but nothing MSM would turn on every employee regardless of color. If they did, selfish Amazon employees cut off lifelines to elderly during pandemic. MSM union busting headlines. I'm not. If Amazon employees want to form a union, I think they should be able to. I don't like how Amazon was forcing in-person voting or whatever. I think the union did that. But when Amazon unionizes, the low prices will disappear. Maybe or maybe not. Right now, Amazon, at least where I live, Amazon already starts with higher pay than a lot of the unionized places, and they already have really good. They have good healthcare benefits, at least the Amazons around here. Now, I don't know if that's company-wide. I think it is. But I know that company-wide, they start at $15 an hour working for Amazon. And it's even higher in places where the cost of living is more, where there's more competition for labor. Now, would Amazon employees automatically be better off if they were unionized? I do not know. I know that I work for a union shop, and I know that we have great benefits and pay because of that. But that's very comparable to the local Amazons here. In fact, we've had people leave UPS to go work for Amazon who is not unionized. I know that there's people who go and leave and work for FedEx. Now, FedEx is not unionized either, and they've been trying to unionize parts of FedEx for years with no success. But FedEx is a completely different animal than what I work with, at least as far as how they operate. Where I couldn't see someone who's been in with UPS for a long time go and work for FedEx. It just ain't going to happen. People who've been especially union employees who've worked at UPS for a long time, have it really good and still have a pension system and all kinds of things that you're just not going to get with newer companies. I don't know. I don't know if Amazon would be better off unionizing or not, or if they could be partially unionized based on locations like some companies are. I don't know. I have no idea. Would their low prices disappear? I don't know how much better pay and benefits they would get by unionizing. Maybe, maybe not. So anyway, all right, let's move on. Do we want to get into this report? Not really. I might save it for Monday. And also the fact that it's a Vox article, I don't know. But here's the thing. The idea that a company-wide, when you talk to a few people, a few disgruntled employees who happen to be black, and they complain about where they are and say it's that the entire company is like this. Different companies, look, different locations of the same company. So, for example, we have like 4 hubs in the Twin Cities for UPS. Just because we're union doesn't mean that all 4 hubs operate the same way. Or even in our case, in the one I work in, even the main 3 shifts of package handlers, not the people driving packages out to the public, but just the package handling aspects. The 3 different shifts have different characteristics, whereas the midnight shift has a completely different attitude than the sunrise shift, because the sunrise shift has a lot of people who just want to get there and go and work and be gone, whereas the midnight shifts love to make sure that they're all getting the amount of hours they need and this and that, and they're really competitive about making sure that the people with seniority get asked to do certain things or asked the opportunity to leave first, where in our shift it's less stringent. Every different place you go is going to have different characteristics based on who's working there and what the management style is of those particular managers, which can grow if they're there for any period of time, kind of goes by whoever's the main manager there. So you're not going to, the idea that someone can say, well, black employees say Amazon has a race problem. Well, is it a race problem company-wide? Is there a race problem in one hub where they work or one distribution center where they work? Or is it even a race problem at all? Or is it a issue of where attitudes are, anything that I get reprimanded for, it's because I'm black and not because of the job I'm doing. So it's a challenge to make a blanket statement about a company as large as Amazon when you can only find a few anecdotal examples. And so this first example for Shanine Kelly Ray, that's an anecdotal example. Now, is that company wide or not? I'm going to read this article later and see what I think before I bother doing it here. I don't need to do a live reaction on the article here. All right, so let's move on here. Good morning, Fight for Your Rights. How you doing? K-Shell, how you doing? Nice to see you. Anyone else? Katie the Skate, good morning. How you doing? I'm astonished at you made into corporations, those evil capitalists, scratching my head. Yeah. So yeah, I hate it when they do this. They're going to make okay, so here, let's see here. Now let's look at some of the replies to this thread from Vox. The definition of biases has been expanded so much, it's not always easy to separate legitimate claims from regular unpleasantries in life. Ding. Yeah. Oh, easy for a white man to say is the one right behind this. I want to put this black man says, correct. Correct. 100% correct. Let's see what the replies to that are. Let's see. It's easy. It is easy. Like his statement. I like his statement. Easy for anyone with common sense away. Pretty dumb too. Only the rich whites own slaves. Really? Did they not know? This is someone who doesn't know the history of slavery. Only the rich whites own slaves, and they didn't have to fight in the Civil War. Where the term rich man's war, poor man's blood comes from, also a reason so many deserted the war. Facts matter. Well, that's not even true. There were rich blacks who owned slaves too. Did this woman not know that there were black plantation owners? Did this woman not know that the first permanent slaves in the or at least it wasn't in the United States, but the first person to make their slaves permanent property was a black slave owner? Here's one for you. You'll get a kick out of this. Stop blaming white people month. Accept responsibility for your own bad choices. Hug a white person. Oh, that's gonna get some traffic. That's terrible. But you know what? We have this. I don't know. We just love this whole dumb of white people. When as a black person, I just say, you know what? I can live my entire existence without worrying about what white people are doing. Okay, I don't care, except for my wife, of course, because I have to worry about what she's doing. But you can live your entire existence without worrying about what another category of person is doing, and most people don't even think about the other categories of people. But boy, we sure do a lot. We're always worried about what white people think. I don't give a shit, except for my wife. I always care, and the people who I care about. But just in general, no. Has anyone tagged Jeff Bezos yet? Jeff Bezos, be the change you want in this life and world. I don't know. I know you may not have control over everything considering the size of your company, but this investigation deserves to be investigated and if found to be true, dealt with swiftly. the problem is anyone who has a disciplinary action against them or has anything, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Just anything that, I don't want to say bad, but just anything adverse that happens to them can automatically blame it on race and not their actions for certain communities. That's just the bottom line. You can make it something that's you can just yell that every day. And unfortunately, everyone has to take that seriously. And I would guess in many of the cases, they have nothing to do with their race, and a lot of times with performance, okay, or attitude, okay. So, but it's easier just to blame something that happens to you that's adverse on race sometimes, and there are some times when they absolutely based on race too. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but kind of reminds me of the epidemic of hate crimes over the last 4 years. 2/3 of all hate crimes reported over the last 2 years were found to be false. That had nothing to do with hate crimes. But anyway. All right, what else is trending here? That's just your place in the COVID-19 vaccine line depends on where you live. Yeah, that is true. Some places are prioritizing the elderly, who are the most likely to die from COVID. And that should be the only criteria right now if you really paid attention to what's going on with COVID. Let's see. Fears over forged documents add a hurdle for vaccine eligible. Oh, interesting. Yeah, some people were, there was even people who were dressing up as elderly. A couple women got caught dressing up as old women to try to get vaccines, and they got busted. It's hilarious. Russian diplomats leave North Korea using hand-pushed trolley. That's weird. Now I just got to look at this. 8 Russian diplomats and their families, including a 3-year-old girl, had to use a hand car to cross the border from North Korea to return to Russia since rail service between the two countries has been suspended due to COVID. Oh, okay. That's a COVID issue. So here they are pushing their hand-pushed whatever trolley. They have to walk from North Korea back into Russia. Okay. North Korea shut its border more than a year ago because of coronavirus. A few Russian diplomats and their children found a way out with the help of a hand-pushed rail car. Boy, I hope there aren't very many hills there. Good God. All right. So it looks like that's kind of it for new news. Let's see. Battling the Capitol. Oh, here's an article that just, this absolutely is part of the narrative. Battling with Capitol mob. Black officer came face to face with racism. I wonder what this is trying to do. Black officers fought a different battle on January 6th. It's Harry Dunn, a Capitol police officer. He talked to the New York Times about what he saw and heard when rioters, including white supremacists, stormed the Capitol. Well, here they didn't, at least they did say rioters, including white supremacists, instead of white supremacists and others who rioted. Okay? Because what was it? The one guy said, the Merrick Garland was talking about white supremacists storming the Capitol. Now, they've only actually found, 2 or 3 like known white supremacists that they are, at least are claiming are white supremacists. Oh, the racist slurs hurled at Harry Dunn, a Capitol police officer, during the January 6th riot were cited as evidence in the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump. He spoke to the New York Times about the bigotry and trauma he experienced. I've got bloody knuckles. We're hurting. That's when I said, "Is this America?" And I started crying. The tears are coming down my face. Is this America? Now, I don't want to belittle this guy's experience. I probably shouldn't have thrown in the Price is Right meme in there. But I'm just curious if, because there again, this is one of those cases where there are thousands of cameras around, right? Oh, hey, what the hell went there? Hang on a second. Let me try this again. I'm going to see if I can get an archive page. All right, there, copy. I'm sure there's an archive page of this. There were thousands and thousands of phones, recordings, selfies, video by all the people around there. Okay? Just everywhere. Thousands of phones. And remember, this is, in an event where a lot of people are out there filming because they're trying to do their thing, right? Now, has anyone in the chat, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, because I am genuinely curious if anyone in the chat has seen any video from that day, that's been shared over and over all over the place, where you saw a bunch of people yelling racial epithets or racist things at police officers. I haven't seen one yet. So if this is a case where they that happened, I'd love to see it. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm sure that you would have seen it by now. It would be playing over and over on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, NPR, and every other outlet if there was any visual or audio evidence of this. But let's read the beginning of this article and see where they go with this. We already read this paragraph here. The racist slurs hurled at Harry Dunn, a Capitol police officer, during the January 6th riot at the Capitol were cited as evidence this month in the Senate's impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Now, let me check this link too, because I'm curious if they have video of this. I want to know. Oh, this is, that's New York Times paid page. I haven't seen it yet. You would think if this was, because I watched the Senate trials, impeachment trial too. They said this happened, but they didn't have any evidence. And I'm just curious. Now, okay, Officer Dunn had remained anonymous until this week. Now, Officer Dunn, 37, who is black and is a 13-year veteran of the force, and I'm not saying he's lying even, but I just don't know. I haven't seen evidence of this. And I'm not saying he's lying. He may very well have heard racial slurs or even heard things that sounded like racial slurs, but I'm just curious. Officer Dunn, 37, black, a 13-year veteran of the force, who grew up nearby Prince George County, Maryland, is ready to speak publicly about the violence and racism he experienced at the hands of a pro-Trump mob during that grim day in American history. Standing 6'7" with a muscular frame, Officer Dunn is an imposing figure, but says the bigotry and trauma he experienced that day were enough to intimidate anyone. Now that he's talking about his experience, he says other black officers have told them that they too experienced racist slurs from the mob. So many people, for whatever reason, aren't talking, Officer Dunn said in an interview with the New York Times. I just want to give a voice for us. I also wonder why, well, maybe they didn't have body cameras. This would be a good reason to have for Capitol Police to have body cameras too. How did January 6th start for you? Were you worried? It was a protest day. We deal with protests here all the time. Well, then you're used to people throwing racial epithets at you no matter who the protest group is, because you know how the Black Lives Matter treat you. You know how the anarchists treat you. And they're throwing out shit at you all the time. Probably calling you things like coon and sellout and Uncle Tom. So I'm wondering if that maybe they're used to hearing those kinds of racial epithets. So maybe he did hear something. Or is that what he heard from these people too? I want to know what it was specifically. He says it could be a displeasure with the Affordable Care. People come here all the time because they're angry about something. It could be anything. It could be displeasure with the Affordable Care Act or the Supreme Court nominee or whatever it is. For a regular officer on the ground, we were thinking, here we go. Let's go through this day and then get back to normal. When did you realize things were turning bad? I got a message from one of my friends. It was a screenshot from maybe an Instagram page or something like that, and it said they were storming the Capitol and to be ready for a fight. It was around 9 in the morning. I started work at 7, but I didn't really get a sense things were turning bad until they found the pipe bombs at the RNC in the afternoon. Then a couple of minutes later, we found a second one. I thought, holy crap, what the hell is going on? The crowd started growing in size, and now you're like, okay, something's about to happen. People are getting more agitated. Then boom, the next thing you know, we're fighting with people on the west lawn of the Capitol. That's where it started. Did you know the difference between the small crowd that had been protesting all morning in front of the Capitol and the mob that marched from the Trump rally and began attacking from the west lawn of the Capitol? Hold on. The crowd that came from the Trump rally didn't get there until after the melee had already started. Before they breached the building before Trump was even finished speaking. That's a weird leading question. Anyway, quote, his answer, on the west lawn, those were the people that came from the rally. Those are the ones that started the violence. Oh, the ones that were there before the speech was over? I'm just wondering about this. I got to look at the timelines again, but I thought this was happening before the speech was over. Anyway, what was the moment when your physical safety felt most in danger? Shoot, man, the whole day. At one point, I was out there on the inaugural platform. I had this rifle, and I literally aimed in. I had this rifle, and I'm literally aimed in at the crowd. They're fighting. They're throwing smoke bombs. These were terrorists. They had weapons, and they were attacking us. They had flags that said, come and take it, with a picture of a gun. You know that these guys are freaking armed. Oh, do you now? Really? Because they didn't find any weapons. He's saying they're armed, but he doesn't know that. Interesting. You know that these guys are freaking armed. And I'm thinking, I've got my gun pointed at these guys, but I can't concentrate on one person. But 100 people could concentrate on me, and they could take me out right there on this stage. How long is it before I get shot? Well, clearly you're speaking about this afterwards, and not a single person was shot except for Ashley Babbitt. Now, I'm not saying that that could not be a concern, but he has no evidence that anyone was armed. And so far, they haven't found anyone that was armed. Not in the way you just said. Interesting. So the next question, okay, at this point, you're still some distance from the rioters. Tell me about when you first made physical contact with the mob. Once they started to break the line is when I actually made contact and started defending myself and the building. I was just holding the line with the other officers. Did you have a shield or other protective gear? My fists are pretty protective. In the end, I had blood on my knuckles and swelling. So he's punching them. You're a big guy. There were a couple of marches. By a couple, I mean a lot. I didn't even pick up my baton. My pepper spray, I didn't deploy that well into the fight because I realized, oh crap, I have this. Why don't I use these tools? So you were outside the building to begin the day. How did you end up inside? Once they breached the building, some of us decided to team up in teams of 2 and go inside the building. The MPD, Metropolitan Police Department guys had arrived, and they were holding the line so valiantly, they fought their asses off. I want to make sure they get credit. So, okay. This is another case where we go, okay, there were tens of thousands of people at this speech. And apparently there was a handful of officers, but this handful of officers was able to hold off thousands of people. Which to me may be saying that maybe not all of these people were part of the mob that were out there. And all the people at Trump's speech. If Trump told the crowd to go take the Capitol building, And there's 10,000 people, and supposedly Trump incited this insurrection. How is that not tens of thousands of people didn't go attack the Capitol building? Why were there only a few hundred or whatever that did? And how did they hold them off without weapons? I'm just speculating here. I wanted to make sure they get credit. Absolutely. I was there that day. This is the reporter. I watched how the DC Police Department put down the riot. Once their officers arrived at the scene with riot gear, what happened next? Inside, we were getting overrun. The teams of two ended up getting separated. Now we're just one-man units. It was so confusing because everybody was everywhere. They didn't just come through the doors. They came through the windows. We were just outmatched. The fight started going on for hours. You've got all masks on. There's OC spray, a kind of pepper spray in the air. All these factors are contributing to officer fatigue. Everybody's just running on adrenaline, pure adrenaline. At one point, I confronted a group of terrorists in the crypt. There were downed officers behind me, and I'm like, I have to hold this hallway. I'm tired, but I said, y'all not coming through here. They said, we're coming. This is our house. We're taking over. That's when I said, we've got dozens of downed officers here. Why are y'all doing this? Get out. I guess it was a group of oath keepers. He's naming someone that he's heard of. I guessed it was a group of the oath keepers, and they appeared to be concerned. Officers are hurt. That's when one guy said, we're doing this for you, and showed me his badge. He was an officer, but they didn't get through me. The only person attempted to get through me at the time, and he met the floor. Finally, officers with armored gear responded and held that area. So wait a minute. Those guys stopped because they didn't like the idea that they were downed officers? I thought these were just bloodthirsty mob. I don't know what that even means. Hello, BoschTube. Now there was a moment when racist slurs were used against you. So I run up the stairwell. There's people freaking everywhere. They saw I came from an area that wasn't occupied by terrorists. Again, he uses terrorists. You mean rioters? There's a difference. Anyway, so they tried to go down the steps. I said, no, you're not going down there. And I'm exhausted. They're saying, Trump is our rightful president. Nobody voted for Joe Biden. I needed to catch my breath. So I said, I voted for Biden. What? My vote doesn't count? My vote doesn't matter? A woman responded, this slur voted for Joe Biden. Everyone there started joining in. Hey, slur. It was over 20 people who said it. Gee, I wonder if anyone has video of that. Later, you broke down in the rotunda. Answer. Once the FBI and all these other officers arrived, the Capitol started getting cleared out and more secure. The officers who had... So, wait a minute. So I'm going to go back to the slur here. Hello, hypnagogic monk. I'm going to go back to this story about the slur. So I read it. Hey, this slur voted for Joe Biden. And everyone started joining in. Hey, slur. Really? 20? What? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. Anyway, it might have happened, but I'm still. And then later you broke down in the rotunda. Once the FBI and all these other officers arrived, the Capitol started getting cleared out and more secure. The officers who had been fighting from the start, a lot of us just sat down on the floor. There was trash everywhere. The smoke was thick. I saw one of my buddies who I'd known basically since I've been on the department, and we just looked at each other. We just started talking about the day and how we were hurting. A war is made up of 100 battles, and we were all in the war, but we all had different battles. A lot of us black officers fought a different battle than everybody else fought. I said to my buddy, I got called slur a couple dozen times a day. I'm looking at him. He's got blood on him. I've got bloody knuckles. We're hurting. That's when I said, is this America? And I started crying. Tears are coming down my face. Is this America? I know you want to stay away from politics, but how did you feel when your experience was referenced in the impeachment trial? At that time, I hadn't gone public yet. A lot of people knew my story. I was in the middle of the rotunda crying. I was loud. I didn't hide it. I was starting to heal, and it's kind of brought me back there all over again. It was a rough time. Look, I guess I'm not doubting this guy's experience as far as that being a rough time, and that probably had to suck. Your job is to protect the Capitol. I just, you know what? This fits the narrative the Democrats want, though. I'm having a hard time buying that. Maybe, I don't know. I've just never would guess. Why would 20 people all say that over and over again, though? I doubt it. I just doubt it so much. I just doubt it so much that was what happened. And also the fact I don't know what the slur that they're talking about is. You know, I don't know. Because they don't put it in there. And I wonder, it says it's referenced in the impeachment trial. Is this the same link to the New York Times? Yeah, this is the same New York Times. Now, this says it's a video. Let's see here. Let's see if they've been able to... Let's see if we can get a... Can they archive the video? We'll find out in a second. I think that they're just talking about... Okay, I don't think you can. Because it's a video. This is from the impeachment trial. Looks like they're trying to, though. Let's see what happens. I'll come back to that. How has the impact of the violence of January 6th been on the officers' mental health? It took a horrific toll on us. Counselors have been made available, but I think a lot of people are reluctant to use them. Mental health has always been a stigma. Nobody wants to talk about it. If you appear to be broken or hurt, you're weak. Now people are wondering, can I even go tell them that I'm not okay with them taking my gun from me and losing my job? Taking your gun from you? But still, remember, there was still only one person shot. I'm fantastic. Or I'm fantastic. I'm fascinated. So someone got their gun taken away from them, and yet still nobody else was shot. Only person shot was Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt, whatever her name is, by an officer who shot an unarmed... Well, if she had been a black woman, I'm sure we'd have heard more about it. But nope, she was an unarmed white woman. But anyway, yeah, all these so-called armed people, supposedly, all this insurrection, armed insurrection, and yet nobody else was shot. Fascinating. This is it must not have been, okay, that gateway's not good, so that you can't get that archive. You know, talking about armed insurrection, and yet there were no other shots even reported to be fired. Which is great. I mean, if they were armed and they had the discipline not to fire their weapons, that's, I don't know if the word impressive is the right word, but that's fortunate. Did you know Brian Sicknick, the Capitol police officer who collapsed and died after the attack? This is interesting. We worked together. He was a great man, a great person, somebody that you would want to work with. He did his job. He was someone that you could trust. And we still don't know how Brian Sicknick died, but it seems from his family, his mother believes he died from a stroke. People did that day. So many freaking people. We've got officers who suffered concussions and got attacked. So many people fought so bravely. There were so many Eugene Goodmans that day. Everybody fought their asses off, and they're real heroes. And I'm going to agree with him completely on that. The officers who were attacked unjustifiably, the officers who got beat up by some of the assholes who were part of that mob of riotous people who were doing stupid shit in the Capitol, who should all be charged with whatever charge is appropriate to them. A lot of them just trespassing, but some of them assault, whatever. They should be charged. But I don't know if narrative building is necessary for this. And I maybe they'll have some video of some of this, but this is, again, it just seems like they want to continue with a narrative on this to make it way more than what it actually was. Were there idiots who planned some of this ahead of time? Possibly. There's probably I'm sure there was certain groups that planned some of this ahead of time. But also there's obviously, at least we have one known example of someone there who their purpose was to egg it on, and not from the side of the people that most were there to be. So fascinating, just fascinating that they're doing this. But that story, just, I don't get it. Granted, people who do stupid things aren't always logical or reasonable, and maybe something that stupid happened, but I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, let's see. The great pandemic cereal boom. The declining breakfast industry experienced a sudden demand spike during COVID. Hey, people are eating cereal, or as some people would call it, well, I'm not going to the soup cereal argument. But anyway, apparently when the country began closing down last March, it was clear that food supply chains would be severely tested. But nobody predicted that we would run out of grape nuts. Well, come on now. You got a lot of people stay at home, guys. What's one of those snacks that you can just throw together really fast? Is a bowl of cereal. I mean, who doesn't like a good bowl of cereal when you're bored? And if you put a bunch of kids home or bored all the time, they're going to be eating a lot of cereal. I'm sure there's been a whole run on milk too. Grape nuts ran out in early December and won't be back at full capacity until mid-March. Other cereals have also been hit by capacity and supply constraints. Cheerios, Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes, Honeycomb. Fascinating. Before 2020, the biggest 1 month increase in cereal consumption was 5.6%. In July 1973, the last March, it was, they had a jump in cereal consumption, 27%. Oh my gosh! No wonder they're running out of cereals in the stores. What's the cereal that we bought a lot of? Reese's Puffs. We buy a lot of Reese's Puffs. I never recall not being able to find Reese's Puffs though. Maybe it's just where I live that look, Minnesota's like the cereal capital of the world. I mean, General Mills here. What's the other one? There's two that are here that are huge. I know we do Malt-O-Meal. They process a ton of cereal in Minnesota. And not just Malt-O-Meal, the cereal, but they like a lot of the generic cereals you get in this country are made by Malt-O-Meal. So if you get a generic version of Frosted Flakes, for example, or a generic version of Cheerios, those are generally made by the Malt-O-Meal company. Is Post here? I don't know if Post is here. I can't remember where Post cereals. Let's look that up. Post cereal company. Are they in Minnesota too? I don't know. There's let's see. But General Mills is huge. No, Battle Creek, Michigan too. There's a lot of cereal companies. Kellogg's is in Michigan. But yeah, we're a cereal making MFers here in Minnesota. Anyway, that's kind of funny. Let's see. Oh, wait, I got another notification here. Oh, by the way, apparently a lot of people liked my tweet about the white conversion therapy. I got quite a few likes on that one. Although it didn't go. I'm waiting for my first viral tweet. I don't know. Really, I've never really had a viral tweet. Cereal sucks. Oh, bite your tongue. I love me some cereal. I love me some honey bunches of oats. I love that shit with almonds. Although my son doesn't like it with almonds. I don't even know you can taste the almonds, but for some reason he's not into the almonds. All right. Well, I've been going for a couple hours now. Let's do this. I'm going to do 15 minutes of AMA here. If you have anything you're just dying to know about PDawgKnight. By the way, thank you again for our sponsors so far today. Chicago Mike, Black Hebrew Israel. Oh no, that was yesterday. Chicago Mike and X-Bubba Hotep. Appreciate you guys sponsoring through Super Chat or Streamlabs. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. And hopefully I've been, like I said, this is completely impromptu today. So it was unplanned. I got to remember to look up at the smiley face here. I tell you that because I realized when I've been doing this stream for a while and I've had my camera set up like this, and I have it set up here instead of straight in front of me. And I had this habit of kind of looking down below the camera, and then I realized, oh, I'm looking at one of my replay streams. I'm like, what am I looking at down there? So now I have a happy face right where the camera lens is, so I remember to look at you and not at the tripod. So anyway, but then again, I should probably move the camera down, but I like the angle because I don't look as fat with the camera looking down on me as when it's looking straight on. I'm doing that Instagram camera tricks, trying not to look so fat. Anyway, if you have any questions or any comments that you want me to read, put them in the chat because I'm going to start answering questions. I hope you're having a good day too, by the way. My plans today, actually I have to leave. I have to leave for my basketball game in an hour. I have my coaching my team today at 2:00 in the afternoon, and then Lady Boomer and I are going to go celebrate our anniversary, which was actually last Monday, but we're celebrating again today. We did the family celebration last week. We're doing our personal celebration today, and we're just basically going to go do some day drinking at our favorite restaurant and bar. So that should be fun. Anyway, so we'll ask, are Fruit Loops homophobic? Asking for a friend. No, I would say Fruit Loops are not homophobic because Fruit Loops were Fruit Loops before fruit and loops and rainbows were about being gay. So there you go. Black Hebrew Israelite says cereal is my favorite soup.
That's right.
Cereal is not soup. If cereal were soup, then Pop-Tarts would be ravioli. Someone made that joke. It's not original, but I thought that was humorous. You know what I like to do? I like Quaker instant oatmeal, brown sugar maple flavor and I throw raisins, craisins, and usually pecans or chopped walnuts in there. And that's one of my favorite ways to do cereal. Oatmeal is good for old folks. Easy going in, easy going out. Well, that's not why I eat oatmeal. You probably wrote that long before you heard me say my thing with the Quaker instant oatmeal. Let's see. Cereal was big in my house growing up. In my house, I only have Honey Nut Cheerios for my kid. That was ours. Our kids loved Honey Nut Cheerios too. They liked Honey Nut Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which we didn't buy that often. And then what was the other one? Every once in a while, Reese's Puffs my kid ate, but they really liked Honey Nut Cheerios. Oh, and Life cereal, Cinnamon Life. That was the two biggies that my kids would eat when they were young. And although usually I usually got up and made my kids breakfast before they went to school because I was always up earlier. I always got home before they left for school, and so I used to make them breakfast on a lot of mornings. So I'd make pancakes or eggs or something, and cereal were the days when I didn't have time to make them breakfast. Anyway, hey Mikey, he likes it. Yeah, the old Life cereal commercial. I like original Life cereal. But they really like Cinnamon Life. Oh, I've been looking for this video, and I thought I'd run into it today. I don't know what this is, but it's kind of funny. It's just a Joe Biden clip. It's only a short clip here. Here it is.
I think he was getting on a plane. He told me he came in to see me last event. And Representatives Shirley Jackson Lee, Al Green, Sylvia Garcia, Lizzie Pinelli. Pinnell, and what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. And Mayor Turner, Judge Hidalgo, thank you all for welcoming us. And Jill and I wanted to visit Texas today for a couple of reasons. first and foremost.
Well, to do a photo op because Joe Biden finally made it to Texas on Friday, and it was interesting because I was looking at the Twitter headline. Twitter had this headline from yesterday saying that Joe Biden to visit Texas Friday to survey the damage from the natural disaster. And I was thinking to myself, okay, wait a minute. What was the national disaster in Texas? It was cold weather. It was ice. So the thing is, Texas's cold weather ended like Monday or Tuesday. It's been in the 70s this week. And so what damage exactly is he surveying from the natural disaster? Unless, of course, he's gone into houses where maybe some pipes burst or something like that. But I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And it took him this long. And then also, there's like 120 or 150 counties in Texas, and he only declares like 70 of them a disaster area for this whole frozen weather and pipes breaking and loss of electricity. And there are still places in Texas right now where they haven't quite finished fixing the water filtration problem. So there's some still places where they have to boil water. But I'm just like, what the bloody hell is he doing in Texas now? Like almost a week after it's over. I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, but that was kind of funny. Not exactly knowing, he didn't know who he was talking about and couldn't get the words out. But that's typical for Joe because he's flirting with dementia, I guess. Anyway, let's see. There's a lot of people talking about cereals, Lucky Charms. I used to like Lucky Charms when I was a kid. What else here? Count Chocula. Yeah. I remember when Count Chocula and Boo Berry came out, and then they came out with a strawberry one, which I can't remember which one that was, but Boo Berry and Count Chocula, those came out in the 70s. And it was just the coolest thing when they came out. Does anybody, okay, here's one from the past though, that you probably don't remember unless you're old like me. Does anyone remember Quisp and Quake? They were two different cereals, and the guys, the mascots on them looked like aliens. Quisp and Quake. And Quake, I don't know what happened. That cereal, that they stopped making that a long time ago. But I actually saw a box of Quisp about 10 years ago, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know they still made this. Did anyone else besides me remember that? I'm just curious. Golden Grams, liked Golden Grams too. Those are pretty good. Let's see. Frozen pipes suck balls. I don't want to see that. Okay. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Someone on here making cookies. Almond flour, peanut butter cookies. Interesting. Kashi has some slamming peanut butter cereal. I haven't tried that. I've had Kashi once, and there's a couple of granola type cereals that I eat with vanilla yogurt instead of milk, which I kind of enjoy. Frankenberry, that's the one. Boo Berry and Count Chocula. That's right, Frankenberry. Frankenberry lasted longer than Boo Berry. Boo Berry seemed like to be a novelty for a couple of years, and they stopped making it. But yeah, Count Chocula and Frankenberry were the two biggies. Born in 1975, so I remember those older cereals. Cool. You remember when they were brand new? Yeah, I do too. Oh gosh, 60 Minutes Plus, now streaming a version of the Sunday Classic, brings the biggest interviews from the most compelling news stories exclusively to Paramount Plus. Anyone a subscriber to Paramount Plus? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, Facts Over Feelings, welcome. Zlatan telling LeBron to stay out of politics. Oh yeah, I didn't see that. I want to see what that's about. How do you spell? Is that how you spell it? Z-L-A-T. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Okay, let's see what this. Okay. Oh, LeBron responds to Zlatan. I would never shut up about things that are wrong. Yeah, but how about if you're shut up about things you are wrong about, and if you don't really know what you're talking about? So this is here's the YouTube clip of LeBron responding. Oh, this is 1:41 long. What the hell did he say? Let's see here.
At the end of the day, I would never shut up about things that's that's wrong.
By the way, you know what's was hilarious? I remember he was doing an interview once. He had a copy of the autobiography of Malcolm X. And he was talking about how he's reading the book and whatever. And you could tell the book was brand new and he had never even cracked a page of it. But anyway.
I preach about my people, and I preach about, equality, social injustice, racism, systematic voting, voter suppression.
Okay. Give me some examples, LeBron. I bet you don't have any. Okay.
Things that go on in our community, because I was a part of my community at one point and seeing the things that was going on.
I was part of my community at one point. When was the last time you lived in your community? Although now let me give LeBron credit. LeBron credit has been using his money to build schools in his hometown of Akron. So I absolutely have to give him credit for that. And he's not all talk. He actually does often put his money where his mouth is. So I must give him respect for that.
And I know what's going on still, because I have a group of 300 plus kids at my school that's going through the same thing, and they need a voice.
Going through what same thing? The kids at your school are going through what same thing, LeBron? I'm curious about that. Anyway.
And I'm their voice. And I use my platform to continue to shed light on everything that may be going on, not only in my community, but around this country and around the world. So, if there's no reason, I won't say no reason, but there's no way I will ever just stick to sports, because I understand how this platform and how powerful my voice is. And he can just ask Renee Montgomery, if I would have shut up and just dribbled. Seeing that beautiful Black woman today, be a part of a group where she's part of an ownership group now with the Atlanta Dream down in Atlanta. And it's funny you say that because I believe in 2018, he was the same guy who said when he was back in Sweden, talking about the same things, because his last name wasn't a certain last name, that he felt like it was some racism going on when he was out on the pitch. Right? He did say that, right? Yeah, I thought he said that. So I speak from a very educated mind. I'm kind of the wrong guy to actually go at, because I do my homework.
Here's about LeBron doing his homework. But he does speak up. And again, I do respect the fact that he often puts his money where his mouth is. He, like I said, he built a school down in Akron for kids of, kids who have unfortunate lives and things like that. So okay. Now here's what he's responding to.
You like going to watch basketball?
Yeah. I liked a lot, and he's a phenomenal in what he's doing. But I don't like when people, when they have some kind of status and they go in and they do politics at the same time what they're doing. Do what you're good at. Do the category you do. I play football because I'm the best in playing football. I don't do politics. If I would be a politician, I would do politics. That is the first mistake people do when they become famous and they come in a certain status. Stay out of it. Just do what you're best at, because it doesn't look good.
Okay, so that's what he was responding to. I don't know. I think people are blowing it up. Probably more than it needs to be, but it seems to become a very big thing on Twitter. So, I agree with LeBron that Zlatan is a dumb little bitch. Okay, whatever. I don't care if these guys speak out on politics, but if they're not actually out there doing something to help communities, then I question it. And I don't think LeBron's the brightest bulb in the tree, but I don't have any problem with him using his voice to try to help people or whatnot. But still, coming from an educated position, I don't know about that. Oh, what is this? Oh my God. Someone named Marshall Cohen was on CNN. I want to discuss the new Capitol security proposals. Officials want to add 1,000 members to the Capitol Police, beef up protection for lawmakers when they go home, erect permanent fences and walls, and establish a rapid response teams with troops in D.C. You know what? Did they do this when the people who were protesting the Kavanaugh situation stormed the Senate offices buildings and occupied the Senate office buildings and occupied certain people's offices? Did they do this when in the 80s the Senate offices were bombed? You know what? Again, they're pushing this narrative. They're pushing this narrative. I don't believe that there's any other things coming up soon. They need to beef up security when they know there's going to be rallies, and probably not permanently. It's just ridiculous that they are doing this. I'm so annoyed with these people. Let's see what else is going on in here. Shut the fuck up and dribble. Yeah, I mean, whatever. He's got I don't know. LeBron drives me nuts. Anyway, Jaded Emerald, how you doing? Did you see Amazon has canceled Clarence Thomas? What? No, I didn't. I did not. How did they? What did they? His book? Here, let's Clarence Thomas, Amazon. What the hell is going on here? It's hard to understand why the life story of America's only sitting black Supreme Court justice, a story that has been so inspirational to so many, has been removed from Amazon Prime during Black History Month. What's going on Amazon? Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to go through. What the hell? Amazon, this is... Okay, I've only got a few more minutes, but I'm going to go through this one. Amazon strips Clarence Thomas documentary from streaming service during Black History Month. Amazon stripped a documentary on conservative Justice Clarence Thomas, the only black justice currently serving on the Supreme Court, from its streaming service during Black History Month. The video is currently unavailable to watch in your location, the website reads when the title is clicked. While this article is being written in Denver, the outrage appears nationwide, reported by Breitbart News. Amazon appeared to drop the PBS title, quote, Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words, while still promoting a wide array of feature films under the category of Black History Month, such as All In, The Fight for Democracy with Stacey Abramson, and two movies on Anita Hill, Thomas's accuser of sexual misconduct, who attempted to derail this confirmation. All come free to the stream with the Prime membership. The Thomas documentary, released in January last year, remains available for purchase on DVD. A simple search for Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words, comes up short for the title. However, to find it, users must include DVD in the search box, and the documentary will come up as the 10th result. A search for RBG, on the other hand, will bring 3 documentaries on Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary to the top after promoting a sponsored post of her biography, blah, blah, blah. Amazon did not immediately respond to the Federalist request for comment. The company, built by Jeff Bezos, owner of the Washington Post, has only escalated its censorship of political dissidents to the progressive world order. Wow. When did that happen? What's the date of this? That's dated yesterday. What a crock of shit. Okay, thanks for bringing that to my attention. That's unbelievable. Let's see what people are saying about this. Chuck Bullery, the blackest man in America. Black History Month, but not for all. Amazon has decided the documentary on Justice Thomas, a black man who has achieved the highest rung on the justice ladder, has been deemed unworthy to view. The real racists strike again. I want to find somebody. Let's see, Byron Donalds, who's the newest member of Congress from Florida, Amazon's cancellation of the Clarence Thomas documentary is indicative of the DNC's cancel culture, especially when it comes to black conservatives that don't walk to the beat of their drum. I want to find somebody who agrees with this, if anyone in this thread agrees with this. Proving once again who the true racists actually are. God bless Clarence Thomas. Oh, Prospero, you were here. Wasn't it swell that they Thanos the Clarence Thomas documentary during Black History Month? Poof, it disappeared off of Prime. By the way, good morning, Sapphire Dragon, Bosch Tube, and anyone else who I haven't said hi to in the chat. If Clarence Thomas were a leftist judge, Al Sharpton would have already invoked George Floyd and begun a shakedown of Amazon so epic that the race hustlers, or as I call them, grievance grifters, from all over the country would be flocking to Amazon to get in on a piece of the action. Well, you know, we did read the article about how Amazon was treating black employees, so maybe those people were right, and Amazon does have a race problem. I'm just beginning to wonder. I want to see if anybody thinks this was a good idea. I want to find some leftist. Oh, good God. I'm not finding anyone who supports. Are there people who support this? That's what I want to see. I want to go on Black Twitter and see if they notice this. Here's some Brian Newby. He was canceled for thinking freely. Didn't we fight not to be controlled? Digital lynching. That's a good name for it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't see anybody supporting this effort, but then again, most people talking about it probably have conservative sensibilities. But anyway, Arcade, I got to call that a day because I have a basketball game to coach this afternoon. Hopefully we do well. Uncle Tom's are not to be tolerated. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Katie did skate. You know, unbelievable. I'm going to wait. There's going to be, I'm sure we'll hear more about this. This just came out yesterday. I'm looking for the first person who tries to justify this. I'm waiting with bated breath to see who thinks that was a good idea. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today because, like I said, I have a basketball game to coach. I gotta get ready. I have to leave in about 20 minutes, so I'm gonna call it a day. But hey, thanks for dropping in today on this special edition of Saturday Night Live. If you like what's happening here or what we do on the channel, hit the like button now and then, or if you happen to watch this after the fact, throw a comment in the comment section and tell me what you think. Also, here's one for the comment section. Tell me what your favorite cereal was when you were a kid. Put it in the comment section, not in the chat. Come back and throw a comment in the comment section, and we'll see what happens there. But anyway, thank you again. You can share the stream out, please, if you want to sponsor the show. The information to do that is in the description down below. Streamlabs 24 hours a day, Cashapp and Venmo, and then SuperChats during the show. And that's it. I got to go. I hope you enjoyed the show. I got to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Oops, didn't work. Let's try that again. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.